Hi there. Welcome back to one of my little chats while I do some painting. Wanted to talk about one of the strangest things that ever happened to me. It's a synchronicity, and it felt very much like a meaningful coincidence, which is, of course, what synchronicity means. The term, if you're not aware of it, was coined by Carl Jung, the famous shrink, and his idea was that we have these events in our lives sometimes that are, separate things coming in, separate events that aren't connected in reality, but within the sort of realm of the mind and meaning, they have a sort of strange significance. And of course, it's coincidence, isn't it? But sometimes it's just very compelling and strange. So this happened to me when I was in my early 20s, and unfortunately at the time, it was a very stressful time for me. My father, after a long period of, pretty catastrophic midlife crisis and terrible financial and emotional and all kinds of bad stuff happened. He split from NZ to Australia, and it wasn't long after that he sent me and my brothers a email basically saying goodbye and sorry for everything, which was very catastrophically distressing. And it was presumed that he had, what is the parlance of the internet these days, unalived himself. It was really tough. Interpol was involved. My uncles and aunties, tried to enlist the help of that agency to track him down. And it was a whole thing. But yeah, he was missing. And meanwhile, I was still drawing comics and making art all through that. And because, what else am I going to do? There was a period of time where I was working on a comic which was about one of my characters called the Oneironaut, who is a guy in a spacesuit, basically, wandering around the city of the ever open eye. And he comes across like a witch or a shaman in an alley, and she's throwing these little wooden cubes, and in my mind I'm thinking of these little wooden cubes that we used to have in school to measure out decimal sizes and things. So these were a centimetre by a centimetre cubes. Sorry to any Americans, I know that's pretty esoteric for you, but so she's throwing these cubes at the ground, handfuls of them, and they're forming into little cityscapes, order out of chaos. My early 20s mind, I probably thought that was extremely deep. And the Oneironaut says to her, why, what are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. And she says, well, everything is made this way, da, 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 da. Again, very deep. In any case, I'm penciling this. I'm coming up with this idea. I'm sketching it in. I'm drawing it in. And as I'm doing it, my door smashes open and my housemate comes in, exclaiming and holding handfuls of little wooden cubes. And I'm sort of flummoxed and dumbfounded, and I must actually track this guy down and see what he recalls of this incident. He might not recall it at all. And anyway, I'm sort of amazed, and what are you doing? Where did you get these from? And he said, well, a truck, they must have fallen off a truck or something. Well, I don't know, they're all over the road up the corner, like piles and piles of them. I'm mystified by this, but at the same time, there was a period of my life where I was having a lot of synchronicities and coincidences and just weird stuff like that. So, I kept working. And honestly, in my mind, it feels like half an hour went by, and I'm working on another part of the comic. In this part of the comic, the Oneironaut pulls a Polaroid photo out of a squishy tentacle creature of some kind, and the photo is based on a real photo in real life of my father, who again is at this point missing, and hadn't heard from him in weeks. And you know, the Oneironaut says something like, "Who is this man? I hope he's well." Whatever, I'm not sure. And the thing was, this comic, I was trying to make something happen. You know, I was probably thinking of Grant Morrison, you know, the famous comics author who / chaos magician, you know, art magic, and you know, I was, I think, very much into all of that sort of stuff at the time. In any case, this part of the comic I had already penciled. I'd already penciled this image, and I went to get my, you know, my pen to start inking, going over the pencils, and as soon as my pen touched the page, my phone rang, and who is it but my father? Hi, Tim. Hi, Dad. Where have you been? In any case, the ensuing emotional fallout of all of that, I think, sort of swept the weirdness out of the way. But, you know, thinking back on it later, how very strange, you know, strange enough, just a coincidence, I suppose, the intent of finding my father, finding that photo, and as I go to start inking it, you know, completing the image, the phone calls, the phone goes, and you know, you can write that off. It just becomes harder to write off with the little wooden cubes thing, you know, on top of it. Felt very strange. Although, to be honest, it feels stranger looking back at it and thinking about it, because those kind of coincidences don't really seem to happen to me as much as they used to. There was a period in my life where it felt, felt very magical and strange. I don't know. Yeah. In any case, definitely the weirdest and most significant synchronicity that I experienced. Let me know if you guys have had any strange coincidences happen to you, or if you think there's nothing to it and doesn't mean anything. And you know, I don't know. You know, I'm not here to, you know, lecture and try and convince anybody of any kind of strange esoteric mechanics of the universe or anything. But I'm definitely one to ponder such things. Anyway, I hope you liked my little story time. I'm going to get back to painting, and yeah, like and subscribe. Cheers.